Here's a story about capitalism and corporate greed from my hometown, Peterborough, Ontario. It's about the double-edged sword of those so-called good-paying jobs and the price people paid to have them. General Electric Corporation set up its Canadian headquarters in Peterborough in the late 1800s. For over a century, they operated there, and for good chunks of that were the city's biggest employer. In fact, by their peak in the 1970s, 5,000 people worked in there. About 1 in every 10 residents in Peterborough. My dad worked there. So did his mother and one of my grandfathers. And today, people still talk about the loss of those kinds of jobs in Canada. But what did those jobs cost? Some would say GE poisoned the community for decades and then walked away. A 2017 report by occupational health researchers found that between 1945 and 2000, workers at the GE plant were exposed daily to over 3,000 hazardous chemicals, 25 of them known to cause cancer. Public hearings told stories about the company's operations putting the entire community at risk through toxic residues in the form of dusts, mists, gases, liquids, and vapors. Presenters stood before council and spoke of losing parents, siblings, spouses, all to cancer they believe came from that plant. Others spoke of the fear they live with for their children even today, kids who still go to school in the shadow of that site. And now, years after shutting down operations, GE wants to demolish what's left of those buildings and sell off the land to the highest bidder without properly cleaning up the contamination they left behind. Not to mention the airborne particulate that experts say will undoubtedly escape from where it's currently trapped in the walls of the buildings and in the ground below them. The city says there's little they can do to stop it, and GE, they're not interested in paying to fix the mess they made. So the question isn't just whether those buildings come down safely, it's whether the city has the courage to demand more from the company that profited from it and then abandon the people who built that profit. Because GE made millions off the backs of Peterborough's workers. And now they want to disappear from the consequences. But this story isn't just about GE. It's about what's happened in towns and cities across this country for generations. Factories and industries that dangled the promise of good jobs while trading away human health, life, and the environment to earn their profit. Too many people still think those companies give us something. But let's get this straight. They didn't give, they took. They took our labor. They took our loyalty. They took our lives. And when it was no longer profitable enough, they took off. So the next time someone says, we need to bring those good-paying jobs back, remind them what those jobs really cost. And ask them, was it worth it in the end? Peace out. And if you're not already following me, you should. It's going to be a ride.